All right, Tim Bontemps.
Brad, do you have any sense yet of a timeline on Evan, or is that still completely up in the air?
Won't be traveling with us.
Keith Smith.
Brad, so far this season with guys in and out so much in the lineup, you guys haven't had to make decisions on who's going to be inactive for games. But now that you're finally creeping towards that, how hard is that decision-making process to tell somebody that they're not going to suit up who maybe has all season?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that I think all of us coaches would prefer that they would just do away with, right? I mean, just if somebody is able to play, physically able to play, then we should just dress them. But they have extended it this year from 13 to 15, which has been nice. And so I think that, Keith, this might be the second time all year that I've had to make that call. And so we'll rotate that some amongst, certainly the two ways, and then, maybe a lower minute guy here and there, but just haven't had to make that decision. If we are in a situation like the other day where you're playing and you're already shorthanded at the 5, obviously then you're more likely to have Tacko be active. If you're playing a situation where, it's more of a speed game around, then more likely to have Tremont. And so, but we'll go back and forth with that stuff, and guys are great. I thought that was really hard in the bubble. It was, and we were still at 13, and guys are already, away from their families and everything else, working really hard on off days, and then told they can't dress. I mean, those were probably the time where I would say it's been the most difficult to have those conversations.
Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad. Speaking of Tacko, what was your impressions of how he did against Embiid? I mean, obviously, he played. That's one of the first times he played like against a high-level center in a really competitive time. It wasn't garbage time. Yeah. And what has made you more comfortable about using Tacko to put him in the spot situations?
Well, first of all, I am comfortable using Tacko. He's had a good impact on the game when he's been in the game almost every time. That said, it was also a situation with no Tristan, with Rob obviously struggling against Embiid and getting in foul trouble, that we were, going to see who played him best. And, Luke got some minutes and got some run against him. Tacko got some, and those are challenging. That's a challenging matchup. I thought Tacko did, what we had asked him to do, and that was try to make him take jump shots and do so without fouling. Now Embiid got in a comfortable rhythm. I think you have to keep him off balance as much as you can, but I thought that Tacko did fine. I think that he is, and you saw that in the Milwaukee game earlier this, within the last 8 games or so, 10 games or so, where he got in and played a 4-minute stint, a couple 4-minute stints in the first half, and I thought did a good job of just kind of holding down the fort. There's things he's got to improve on, and will continue to do so. This is a really fast-paced game, but he brings something to the table that nobody else does. So I do trust him when we put him in there.
John Krause.
Brad, I know, being home, these guys get to, live more normal lives, but just from a basketball perspective, you guys have made some progress in some areas. How much has just not traveling and being home played into the progress that you've seen?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're still not getting to practice the way you want, right? I mean, I think obviously the density of the schedule, even coming back from the road, we had that 5 and 7, and we've never had more than 1 day off. And so we won't until, whatever, 2 weeks from now or whenever it is. So I think that is makes it challenging to practice. I do think that our shoot arounds have a tendency to be, you can do more, that, you don't have to worry about the super early testing. You don't have to worry about gym availability and all those types of things. So you are able to get a little bit more done. But it is still, in a lot of ways, you're just navigating the density of the schedule, John. And that's a really, fine line. We increased our work in shoot arounds prior to the break simply because we weren't getting any practice time, and we have a lot to do. And so that helped us. I think that helped us prior to, and we tried to do that a little bit more here over this extended stretch at home.
Final two questions for Coach. We'll go to Dan Roche.
Hi, Brett. And forgive me if I don't word this correctly, but kind of what John was saying, do you see the signs of progress, even though it's that tight schedule and it's difficult to get that practice time in? Are you starting to feel better about what you're seeing on the court? Yes, there's been ups and downs, but it looks like you guys are tending to come together a little bit more as far as a team goes. Maybe health has something to do with that too.
Well, I don't know that we'll, there's one thing about feeling better. Yes, we are improving. I can see that both statistically and just in watching us play generally. We still have to clean up a lot. And the most important thing is responding the right way. And I thought we did that the other night. That was why I thought it was one of our better wins of the season, because it was physical, it was hard. You had to fight to win. And those are what good teams do. They figure out ways to fight to win, even when they don't have everything going well for them. That said, you still can't get a pulse on how good we can be until we have those guys out there. And so, it's that's been frustrating, but it is what it is. And I said this the other day, like, I understand the discussion about the ups and downs and the reactions to the ups and downs. I understand all of it. I'm not all that shocked with what we've been through. I do wish that we would have played better at times, but if that means that we'll play better heading into this stretch run, once we hopefully fully get healthy, then that'll be worth it.
Final question, Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad, tonight starts a set of 7 consecutive games with no back-to-back, so 7 games of Kemba. How much are you looking forward to this stretch to get Kemba warmed up, ready to, all the things you want, and to get that chemistry over the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, Gary, it's a really good observation. The other part is we get continuity, hopefully, knock on wood, right? Again, that's why I'm so, that's why it'd be nice to have Evan, because he is going to play a huge role for us if we're going to achieve and reach our best. But it is nice to say, okay, we know generally what, who's going to be playing when, what our rotation looks like. It may change by a person or two here or there, depending on matchups. But for the most part, when we can start that group and we know who we need to bring off the bench and we have some healthy bodies, you do feel like you can make progress instead of, just fighting, scratching, and clawing to get the result, but not necessarily building. And so that is a positive that we need to take advantage of. It doesn't mean we're going to win, these games. It doesn't mean anything other than we need to, see if we can't create some continuity and growth out of this stretch.
Wrap it up right there. Thanks, Coach.